Bobby Wilkinson, the manager of Swindon Supermarine, is here to chat with us once again. Hi, Bobby.
Are you, Dan? You well?
Yeah, all good. Let's get into it then, and we'll look ahead to the Westbury game this weekend, this Saturday, 3 p.m. kickoff as per usual. But let's go back to the previous weekend, Hartpury away, tough game, a 2-1 defeat. Now, here's the thing. So I want to read, before we talk about the match, I want to read something to you, which is what your secretary, Keith Yeomans, wrote about the game, which I read out on Monday, and I compared it to a work of Shakespeare. I need to find it. So, there it is. So, obviously, I will read this. I will ask you for a one-word thought, because you probably can't talk about this. But I wanted to read this to you. The afternoon's hinge moment came on the 35th minute. Marine Sam Turl tackled firmly for a loose ball on the right flank, appearing to nick the ball cleanly with his right foot before then coming into contact with the attacker coming across him. The home bench erupted as though auditioning for a Greek tragedy. The referee, inspired by their conviction, produced a red card with theatrical certainty. I thought that was a great work of Shakespeare. What did you think of the game and the red card?
Well, put it this way, my secretary has got it spot on. He normally does. He's excellent at what he does. And one thing I like about my secretary, he's very open and honest, very loyal. And we can all come on here as managers and players and always defend our players, but it's nice to hear, one of our main people at the football club back us. I have to say, 35 minutes, we were absolutely outstanding, playing some fantastic football, fantastic facilities. But even the first 35 minutes, I couldn't believe what I was seeing with the refereeing decisions. I couldn't believe what I was watching. But as a manager, you have to stay humble. You have to stay quiet because you can never win. But I do feel sorry for these young upcoming managers, because if I was a new manager, I think I would have been sent off nearly every week at the moment with the standard of refereeing. And I don't care if that gets me in trouble. I just speak the truth and I'm allowed my opinion, but I will always stay respectful. And some of the decisions he was making, and then when he sent the lad off, I just couldn't believe it. Yes, their bench did jump up, and why wouldn't they? They're trying to get a decision in their favour, which we thought, well, he's not going to give that, and it wasn't even a yellow card, and he gave it. And if there's one team you don't go down to 10 men with, is these, because they keep the ball very well. They're a very, very good footballing side. You can see why they win games. But tactically and performance-wise and player-wise, we got it right on the day until that happened. And then, I'll be honest, it was just us hoping to see if we could get a point or even stay in the game. And where I give my boys more credit, they stayed in the game for about another 25, 30 minutes, if you include the first half and then part of the second half. So we dug in, we still wore the badge of pride, but we were just under a little bit too much pressure. And in the end, they caught us twice.
And I think it's also important to say you had a few good chances at the end, even with 10 men. So there was still that creative spark there. So, whilst you did struggle without the extra man, there were still positives to take from it as well. Let's look ahead then. Let's leave Hartpury in the past. Westbury United, a home game as well. Westbury just outside the playoffs. Again, one of these teams that are probably aiming for the playoffs, let's face it. And they've won, 3 in their last 5. So they've beaten Hartpury, they've beaten Falmouth, they've beaten Bishop's Cleeve, lost 3-0 to Winchester and lost 1-0 to Shaftesbury. What do you make of them so far this season? They're just outside the playoffs.
I've been to watch them twice, and I have to say, very experienced. Without a shadow of a doubt, will be in the playoffs. I was very impressed with the way they play, their experience, their shape. And they've just gone to basically one of the favourites, Bishop's Cleeve, and won against Bishop's Cleeve this week. So they come with us full of confidence. But these are the challenges that we have to face in front of us. These are the ones that, you have to learn, you have to adapt, and you have to make sure you're better even the week after or next season. I had a meeting with someone today, and it was so incredible what he said to me. He said, what do you see success and what do you see failure? Well, failure doesn't mean if you're losing games or you don't get promoted, because we don't get promoted every year. Does that mean we failed? And what is success? And success for me is make sure we're building for the future, make sure we're building in the right manner, and we're developing these boys to bring success. But success is about hard work. And when he said it to me, it really dawned on me. And I was driving back thinking, that is so true. Does that mean Pep failed last year because he didn't win the league? Did it mean, Arsenal failed the last 2-3 years because they haven't won the league? Or have they been building for success? And that's the project that I'm trying to build here. And it was so interesting when he said it to me, just had to give me a little reminder, because we always look, oh, we've lost a couple of games now. And then I have to go back and look at the last couple of games, Dan, and we played excellent at times. Yes, we show a little bit of inexperience at times. I messaged every one of my players yesterday, just a personal message to thank them for what they're doing and how hard they're working, and they're wearing a badge of pride. And every single one came back with about how much they're learning, how much they're developing as a young man as well. And it brought a lot of what's the word? A lot of excitement to me that we're getting it right on that side of it. We just want to switch it around now, get a few more points and get a bit more confidence in that department. But that will come with hard work and building.
When you have a group of young players, and you're in constant communication with them, I was thinking when you were saying what's the word, I was like, pride, I guess, like kind of familial pride, like a father figure's pride of his young boys, like of the players. How proud are you of the way that they've come? Because we've got, we're in December now, we're near Christmas. It's, you've had your busiest month in the league. How proud are you of them so far?
Yeah, I think you're right, Dan. I think why I'm proud of them is because I see how much they're developing into young men, and I see that they want success themselves. If you don't want success or you don't keep up to my standards, you won't be part of it. Like, I'll be brutally honest with you, Dan. I left a young lad out of the squad this weekend because I felt he didn't show me enough of that passion in training and that desire. He might have felt he didn't do nothing wrong, but I will never drop my standards for however old you are. Yes, we will adapt to certain areas and try to back them so they do learn. But if I feel like people are dropping off the pace or dropping off what we're trying to achieve here, they won't be included. So them sort of standards will never change. But proud is a big word in my family. Like, I'm proud of my kids, but I'm really proud of these young men that we are developing them to. I'll tell you why, because they're building their careers to be successful, because they're being taught by quite an experienced manager who understands that situation. But what we've done is we've still competed, and we've worked even harder the last 2 months, even though we're up against it with so many injuries, and we haven't and shouted that about. We've been up against a few things at the club, which we understand the club is still building, still coming together. This week off the pitch, I think it's the best I've seen the club since I've been here, because you can always slide back into what happened last year. But what we've tried to do is bring momentum even off the pitch. And this week I've seen a little switch and a little shift in that side of it. So proud of the club right now, proud of what they're trying to achieve. We're nowhere near we want to be. We'd love to have another 6 to 9 points, but this time next year we will have them 6 to 9 points, hopefully. But we will continue to work hard, Dan. And yeah, I'm so proud of them. And that's why I do a lot of work outside the football club. You have to stay in constant detail and communication with this young group so they learn. So we're doing a lot away from the training pitch as well with them, because I want to help them on their journey as well. But the journey in the end will come down to success, winning on the pitch and wearing the badge with pride. But Eustace Club are going somewhere, and you can see the future, and that is exciting.
Bury is slowly on its way. 2026, another year. Goodness me, I'm going to be 33 next year. Goodness. January, obviously, in football context, means windows open. I'm not going to ask you who you're scouting, who you're looking at, or anything like that. But more from a business point of view, if you're going before Dragons Den, you have a pitch meeting. Is your pitch meeting or pitch to players coming in? Come join us. I've got the experience of managing at a higher level. I can build you, and then you can go on and go play in the National League, South National League, etc., etc.
Yeah, that's what you normally go down with. I've been very fortunate over the years. I can always sign players. It's been a little bit more difficult this year because of the level. It's been a little bit more difficult this year because I've met quite a few players, and they've said to me, what direction's the club going? Are we going to be here for the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years building? Because they don't want to go from club to club themselves. Some of these young lads and and players get targeted moving around in these leagues. So I'm trying to make them feel safe. I'm trying to make them feel at home, understand what we are trying to build here. Well, listen, I wouldn't have come here if I didn't see the future. I wouldn't have signed my contract if I didn't see what we're trying to build here. I knew this was going to be tough. Did we think we'd be so young? No, but that's where we are, and that's where you have to then adapt to how you manage. But next year we'll sign a little bit more experience. I'll be trying to bring a little bit more experience in January, but I'm already working ahead for next year. Like I've already, spoke to 2 or 3 players next year that have already said they're coming to us next year because they love what they're seeing. They love the project. They love the football we're playing, the entertainment we're playing. Everyone has their opinions. People might see things a little bit different. As long as I know in house what we're doing and where we're looking to go and what we're looking to build, you don't need to sell them the dream. They will see it. And lucky enough, I've had quite a few phone calls and a few meetings in the last month where they want to finish off where they are. A few senior players, by the way, 1 or 2 are trying to win the league and the league above, and they want to come and join us next year. So that's a positive. But until you get them signed on, Dan, you never know, do you? But we'll be working extremely hard to keep this young talent together, because that is so important now as well. I said this to my football club this week. Don't build what we're building and then let it go. While they're in the building, keep them in the building. I've seen this many times over the years, Dan, when you've got fantastic management team, fantastic players, fantastic people, and you let them just leave or they leave the building. When you're building for the future, keep people in the building while they're in your hands. And that is so important. Like the 3 or 4 youngsters, real youngsters, get them on contracts, get them signed for next year. And that's something I'll be really pushing in the new year.
Bobby Wilkinson, thank you very much. Have
Thank you so much.
brilliant game against Westbury United.